What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So we had a lot of information come out yesterday, late yesterday. So I put out 2 videos already yesterday. And since this stuff came out late, I said, I'm going to go ahead and wait and put it out this morning so you guys can see exactly what transpired yesterday. But there was a lot of different things. I mean, the news kept changing every couple of hours. And so we're going to talk about what's going on with this whole stimulus package and this stimulus talk. Because they've definitely changed. At this point, we do have a proposal for stimulus checks, so we can take a look at that. It's not going to be exactly what you think it is, so we'll talk about that. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. All right, so we're going to need to go over to my little chart here, my little diagram, so I can kind of show you exactly what's going on. I like to do this because I'm a visual learner. So I learn through seeing things. And so I'm hoping that you guys appreciate this. Let me know in the comment section if you like this kind of layout here, because I will continue doing. I've been doing it for a little bit now, but I'll continue doing it if this is something that you guys really like. Okay, so I want to look at the proposals. So these are all the 3 proposals that we have in front of us right now. Now you notice this yellow proposal here. There's nothing in it. This is Pelosi's plan. I want to know what was in Pelosi's plan. And maybe we'll find out one day. Maybe a progressive will leak it to us so we can find out exactly what was in her proposal. Because it's interesting. She put out a proposal. She sent it over to Mitch McConnell in a letter. And Mitch McConnell disregarded it. And so then she quickly jumped on board with this $908 billion proposal. So she jumped on board with this one. And so I just want to know what she gave up, like what she caved on, because obviously if she had a proposal, she had some stuff in there. So what was in that proposal? Are we talking stimulus checks? Are we talking, I'm sure stimulus checks were in there. I'm sure enhanced unemployment at $600 per week was in there, but for whatever reason, she caved on it. So I want to know what was in it. Anyway, let's move forward. So Mitch McConnell, he has his plan. So this is Mitch McConnell's plan. His plan does not have enhanced unemployment in it, and it doesn't have stimulus checks. And then we have the very popular right now, everyone's talking about this bipartisan proposal. So that's what we're looking at right now, $908 billion. And it does have enhanced unemployment, but it does not have stimulus checks. Okay, and everybody knows that. Everybody's upset about that, right? So let's move to yesterday. So yesterday, first off, we had Mitch McConnell come out and say, yeah, you know what? Liability protection, state and local funding. Why don't we just not work on that right now? We'll just take that out of the proposal, and then we'll move forward with it without, and then we'll work that in some other proposal in the future. Is basically what he was trying to say. And so politicians came back and said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And so the White House got involved. And this is Washington Post here. So the White House gets involved. Mnuchin put out a statement basically saying that Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy, so Mitch McConnell is the majority leader in the Senate, Kevin McCarthy is the minority leader in the House, said that, you know what, they're on board for this new proposal that we have. So they jumped in. The White House has jumped in and said, this is the proposal that we want. And so let's take a look at exactly what's going on here, because this is going to add stimulus checks. But let's see how this works. So we have the $908 billion proposal. They needed to take money from that $908 billion proposal or try to figure it out. They want to keep this under $1 trillion. For whatever reason, they don't want it to go over $1 trillion. So what they're doing is they're going to take money from the unemployment insurance. So you have $180 billion that was going to unemployment insurance. They're going to take that. This is the White House proposal. So they're going to take $180 billion and they're going to break it up. So $40 billion is going to go to the unemployment insurance, but no enhanced unemployment. So you're no longer going to get the $300 per week enhanced unemployment. So now you're looking at a situation where you're just going to get whatever the state is offering. So whatever the state's offering as far as is unemployment, that's what you're going to get. Now this looks very similar to what Mitch McConnell wanted in his proposal. Okay, he wanted that. He didn't want to give any enhanced unemployment at all. So they're going back to that. So they're going to reduce unemployment insurance down to $40 billion and then not allow you to get enhanced unemployment. Okay, so with that 140 billion left, because you had initially 180 billion. So they split it up, 40 billion here, 140 billion for, guess what? Stimulus checks. Okay. Now, stimulus checks, $600 stimulus check. So no longer a $1,200 stimulus check. That's what this proposal is saying. $600 per individual and $600 per dependent child. It said dependent child. They haven't said if it's going to be dependents, so it could be dependent of any age. They have not indicated that yet. We do need to see the language. We have not seen the language for this $908 billion proposal, or in this case, it would be a $916 billion proposal. So that's what the White House they've chimed in and said, this is what we want to do. And so this is more interesting news, and this is coming from Washington Post as well. It says Trump has privately indicated a willingness to send another round of stimulus checks of as much as $2,000, according to one person in direct communication with the president. Okay, so that's more news, right? So the president is saying, oh, I want to go larger. I want to go 2,000. So that's something else that we're looking at when it comes down to, you have the president still wanting to play a role in this whole situation. So I think, and this is something that I think is a good play, would be a good play by the president if he wants to go forward with this. He can say, you know what, I'm going to veto anything that does not have either a $1,200 stimulus check or a $2,000 stimulus check. I'm going to veto anything that doesn't have that. And that's going to force Congress to put stimulus checks in there. And you're saying, well, why would he do that? Well, the president has been talking about running in 2024. And this is the best way for him to go out. You remember me? I gave you guys $2,000 stimulus checks during a pandemic, right before I left office. And so he doesn't really have to, and this is unfortunate, but he doesn't have to think about the money. He doesn't have to think about how it's going to be paid and all that. All he needs to say is, you know what, this is what I want. If you guys don't want to go with it, then I'm going to go ahead and veto it. And sure, Congress can override his veto, but they need 2/3. It's going to be hard to do that. So that's a play that the president can make. He could say, I want $2,000 stimulus checks. If it's not in this bill, then I'm going to veto it. So we'll have to see where it goes, but that kind of catches you up to speed to where we are right now. Mitch McConnell still hasn't indicated what he's going to bring to the floor. But as of right now, we're looking at proposals coming from all different areas now. And this was the problem before, and I talked about this. You have Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. They've started negotiating, and then what happens? The White House jumps in. And so now the White House is jumping in, and they're saying, well, yeah, you know what? Stephen Mnuchin is saying, we have this proposal. How about this? $916 billion, and we can add stimulus checks and take away enhanced unemployment and all this stuff. So now you have the third party kind of jumping in there when you have legislators trying to figure something out, trying to get something done. Now, I will say Nancy Pelosi has already indicated that this is a no. She's not for it because it does not have that enhanced unemployment. That enhanced unemployment needs to be in there. So because the enhanced unemployment's not in there, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are not on board for this $916 billion proposal. Believe it or not, even though it has stimulus checks, they're still not on board when it comes down to it. So we'll have to see where all this stuff goes. I mean, we still don't know the language. We don't know exactly what they're planning on doing and how they planned on spending this money. So once we see the language, then we can kind of work on, okay, well, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, and see exactly what's going to transpire. So I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this new proposal, this $908 billion proposal? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.